Good morning, everybody. I have a question for you this morning. Who is the church? That's right, we are the church. Now we find ourselves in a new season, a different season, where church no longer looks the same. We no longer gather on Sunday mornings. So things need to change in our life as well. So in the past, we would get a lot of theory, a lot of teaching. We now need to take the teaching and theory we've learned and apply it in our lives. And the second point there is also to the time of gathering that we had no longer exists. And now we need to change that into time of connecting with one another and to people outside of ourselves. So in the next few days, we're going to look at a few points as to how we can equip ourselves and prepare ourselves to do that. And that is pretty much twofold. The one is to make space to hear God and then take time out to hear what He's saying to us. And secondly, to make space in our lives to be able to outwork and do what God has called us to do. And I just want to read from Philippians 12, verse 2. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling, for it is God who works in you, both to will and to work for His good pleasure. So let's start by having a look at today's demonstration.
Something that God's been challenging me on recently has been the effort required and the intentionality required to actually develop a relationship with Him. And I've got a couple pot plants, and we've got a few more inside, which we'll go grab now. But we're chatting about this, and what God's been challenging me on is basically, in order to grow a relationship, you need to have the intentionality required to actually sit down and devote yourself to some time, in the same way that you would go out for a cup of coffee with your spouse, or like, for instance, Megan and I, in order to help keep our relationship healthy, to sit down and share each other's hearts, figure out where we're at. And in the same way with God, we need to actually set time aside and be intentional in that and actually go, okay, Lord, here's my heart, here's where I'm at. Lord, what are you saying to me now? And really seek His face and seek His heart. And that takes effort, it takes intentionality. So Mick is collecting the other pot plants. Mick, the one in Megan's room as well, if you could bring that. So I love these pot plants. They're awesome. And not all of them are mine, but a good deal of them are. And they're beautiful, but the only reason why they grow, the only reason why they do well is because every single day I have to look after them. I have to actually put some effort in. And they're all different. So like my little bonsai, for instance, that little one there with all the moss, that one, you can't water on a cycle. You actually have to wait and let the soil go a bit dry, and you have to feel where the plant is at and then water it and feed it accordingly. Whereas other ones, you can just spray daily. So I've actually got a little mist bottle, which we're going to do some spraying now. But they're all different. Not any one of them is just on a routine cycle, like wake up and spray, wake up and spray. You actually got to be intentional and look at the plant and actually go, where's it at? And then water it accordingly. And it's so true to our relationship with God as well. If we just fall into a thing of a pattern where we wake up every morning, we open our Bible, we read a few passages of scripture, and we go, cool, that's me done for today. There's my effort, there's my intentionality. We're losing so much. Then it becomes religion, then it just becomes a duty. But if we need to put the effort in, which we do, and we do it in such a way where we're actually going, Lord, what are you saying? And we seek Him, and we don't just do it as a routine. So now we're going to go grab the sprayer, and we're going to spray these plants and water them accordingly, and yeah. While Mick is fetching the sprayer, I just want to share why God challenged this in my heart. And it was because I wasn't doing this. So a few weeks before lockdown, I really felt challenged, like I said, that I wasn't actually spending enough time with God on this kind of level, in terms of like actually putting effort in and going, Lord, what are you saying? And me just pouring out my heart to Him. It was very much just a routine thing. You know, every Sunday you go to church, Friday youth comes, and you've got one or two times throughout the week where you've gone, okay, I'm going to read my Bible then. But it wasn't this thing of like actually seeking His face, seeking an intimate relationship with Him and putting effort in that sense. So that's why God challenged my heart on that. And both of these bonsais, so these little tree ones here, were both really, they weren't doing well. They were kind of dying. This one was from my parents. This is Dion's bonsai. And they both weren't doing all too great. My one had like no leaves. Dion's also, they were very straggly, long branches. There was no moss. They were not healthy. And it's not like they weren't being watered. They were being watered, but they weren't being cared for. And actually, like, you weren't looking intentionally at the plant and going, what does it need? You were just, it's just this daily, just water it, just do whatever. and they weren't doing well. And now it's been a few weeks and they're awesome. So we're going to spray them, and yeah. Like we just did now, looking after the plants, actually being intentional, looking at each one, what it needs. I really challenge you guys in your lives to actually put that effort into the intentional side of like your relationship with God. To actually look at it and go, Lord, what are you saying right now? What am I saying? What is my heart? You know, we have to be vulnerable as well. God knows where we're at. Yes, he knows everything, but he asks us to please share that with him. He knows it, but he still says, tell me, ask me. So guys, I challenge you in your daily devotionals, whatever it is that you're doing, to actually be seeking his face. What are you saying, Lord? And to be pouring out your heart and going, this is where I'm at, God. It requires effort. It is intentional, but so much fruit and so much growth in that relationship will come out of it.